welcome back everyone. So Bitcoin just bounced back up to around $61,000 after dipping close to $58,000. But that is not the big story today. The big story is this. Bitcoin is now only about $5,000 away from a price level that has marked the bottom of every past bear market, every single one. And a lot of smart people think we're about to reach it. Let me show exactly what that level is and what happens when we get there. And later I will show you the two things that have to happen before we can say the bottom is actually in, because we're not quite there yet. So let me explain this simply because it is the most important thing on the chart right now. There is a level called the realized price. All that means is the average price that everyone who owns Bitcoin actually paid for it. Think of it as the whole market's break-even point. Right now that sits at around $53,000, and here's why it matters. In every past bear market, when Bitcoin dropped down to that break-even price or just under it, that turned out to be the best buying moment of the entire cycle. It happened in 2018, it happened in 2022, and Bitcoin has not traded below that line since the last bear market ended. So we're approaching a level with a very strong track record. And two more things back this up. First, a simple value gauge that shows whether Bitcoin is cheap or expensive is sitting at 0.23. That is deep in the cheap zone. Second, fear is at 19, which is still extreme fear. So Bitcoin is cheap, people are scared, and we're near a level that has always marked bottoms. One more piece and it actually fits. Right now, people who bought near the top about a year ago are finally giving up and selling at a loss. That sounds bad, but historically that kind of giving up is exactly what happens right before a bottom forms. The last sellers leave and then there is no one left to sell. So the buy zone is closed, but before you get too excited, let me show the levels above and below us that decide everything. And also, if you want to trade with us, you can take advantage of a free bonus using the first link down below in the description. You click the link, you register on BitUnix, and only after you register, you're already going to get 20 USDT completely for free. Then make sure you deposit at least 100 USDT and you get another 20 USDT on top of that. And when you open up your first trade, you're going to get even bigger bonuses. So make sure to use the first link down below in the description. Let me map the levels. I will keep this simple. One line above, one line below. Below us first, the recent low is around $58,000. That is the floor we are standing on. If that breaks, the next stop is that buy zone we just talked about, near 53,000. So $58,000 is the level bulls need to hold to avoid the deeper dip. Above us is the level that really matters, around $68,000. This is a long-term trend line that has held for years, and lately Bitcoin has been closing below it. That is a warning sign, and it's the first thing that needs to flip back green. So my simple rule is get back above $68,000 and hold it, and the whole picture turns bullish again. Above that, the next target is $76,000. And here's the helpful clue about timing. Right now, Bitcoin is squeezing into a tighter and tighter range, smaller moves coiling up. When that happens, it usually ends with one sharp move out. So a big move is coming. We just don't know the direction yet. That is why these two levels matter so much. Whichever one breaks first tells us where we are headed. Now, let me quickly show you what is pushing Bitcoin around behind the scenes and the date that could decide the next big move. I will keep this part short and simple because you do not need the complicated version. First, the US dollar is very strong right now. It just hit a 40-year high against the Japanese yen. When the dollar is this strong, money tends to flow out of riskier things like Bitcoin. That is a headwind. Second, the stock market had a great few months while Bitcoin dropped about 20%. So a lot of money went into stocks instead of Bitcoin, and one of Bitcoin's biggest buyers, the company Strategy, just gave itself permission to sell some of its Bitcoin if needed, which made people nervous. Though some see it as a smart, flexible move. The date to circle the next Federal Reserve decision is July 29th. That is the next big scheduled event that could move everything. So keep that on your calendar. And not only that, by the way, if you still haven't used the first link down below, now is really the time. You click the link, you register on BitUnix, you get 20 USDT for free just for signing up. Deposit at least 100 USDT and you get another 20 USDT. And when you open up your first trade, you get even bigger bonuses on top of that. Everything is in the first link down below in the description. So there are two ways this plays out, nice and clear. Scenario 1, the bottom is already closed. Bitcoin holds above $58,000. Buyers step in because it is cheap and fear is high, and it climbs back to reclaim that 68,000 trend line. If that happens, this area was the bottom and we never needed the deeper dip. And there is scenario 2, one more dip first. And honestly, this is what a lot of analysts expect. Bitcoin loses $58,000 and slides down to that buy zone near $53,000. It feels scary and painful, but if history repeats, that is the best buying moment of the whole cycle, right before the real turn. So instead of panicking there, that is the zone I would be watching most closely. So here is the bottom line. We're close above $5,000 from a level that has marked every bottom before, the two things I want to see from confirmation are simple. Either Bitcoin reclaims $68,000 and holds it, or it dips to that $53,000 zone and buyers show up strong. Until one of those happens, be patient. None of this is financial advice, it's just me walking through what the chart is saying. Do your own research and manage your own risk, please. So the buy zone is $53,000. The line to reclaim is 68K, the date July 29th. So let me know in the comments, are you waiting for $53,000 or do you think the bottom is already in? Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.